What's up guys, Justin here. Today I want to shoot a video for those of you that have been curious about using Spotify's ad platform to promote your music. Spotify is one of the most popular music streaming platforms in the world, so understandably, many artists spend a lot of time and energy trying to grow a following on Spotify. And it stands to reason that if you want to grow a following on Spotify, you may be curious about how their ad platform works and if it's something that you should be taking advantage of. So in this video, I'm going to explain some of the pros and cons of using Spotify Ad Studio to promote your music and help you decide if you can benefit from running ads on Spotify. So let's go ahead and get started. Spotify Ad Studio has some great features that can help you reach a larger audience with your music. Labels, managers, and independent artists can all benefit from running targeted ads using Spotify's ad platform. But the ad platform isn't just intended for artists that want to promote their music. Any company or brand can advertise on Spotify. In fact, most of the advertising on Spotify has nothing to do with music. The initial thought that I think goes through most artists' minds when they hear about Spotify advertising is they think, okay, great. I want to grow my following on Spotify, so it makes sense to advertise on Spotify, right? Well, not necessarily. Think about the ads that you hear on the radio. I mean, you'd like to get your music on the radio, right? So wouldn't it make sense to advertise on the radio? Well, sometimes it does, but what kind of ads do you mostly hear on the radio? Normally, the vast majority of ads are promoting products and services that have absolutely nothing to do with music. And that's the same for Spotify. Just because you want to get played on the radio more doesn't mean that the radio is the best place for you to invest your advertising dollars. And the same holds true for Spotify. Just because you want to get more streams on Spotify doesn't mean advertising on Spotify is necessarily the best way to do that. Now, everybody's situation is different, so let me explain some of the benefits and then some of the drawbacks to advertising on Spotify so you can decide if you think it's a good fit for you. Let's start with the positives. First of all, Spotify has some great data on what their users are actually streaming and listening to. And you can target your audience based on what music they listen to regularly. So you can target your own fans and let them know about upcoming tour dates, new releases, and new merch that you have available. And then you can target fans of similar artists to create awareness and introduce your music to people that are likely to enjoy it. Geo-targeting options are available, so you can run ads in specific locations. This can be particularly useful when you're promoting live shows. If, for example, you're playing a show in Los Angeles, you can target just your fans in Los Angeles. And Spotify now has around 250 million users, more than half of which use the free version of the platform and receive ads. So the platform offers advertisers a pretty big reach. One of the drawbacks, however, is that Spotify Ad Studio requires a minimum budget of $250 per promotion. So when you compare that to running ads on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, where there is no minimum budget requirement, you can see why Spotify ads might not be a good fit for everyone. The fact that Spotify requires a minimum budget of $250 per promotion means that you essentially have to invest $250 and cross your fingers and hope the promotion does well. Whereas when you run an ad on Instagram or YouTube, you can actually have multiple promotions running simultaneously on a $5 a day budget. And after a few days, you simply determine which promotions you want to keep running, which ones you want to shut off. And if none of them are performing as well as you'd like, you can shut them all off. So there's a lot less risk on those platforms versus Spotify, where you're basically just going to be out $250 if your promotion lands flat. What this tells me is that Spotify's ad platform is really tailored more for labels and big companies and brands, and not so much for small independent artists that are on a tight budget. That said, if you do have the budget for it, Spotify ads can help you reach fans that you might not reach otherwise. Now, Spotify ads are a little different from Facebook and YouTube ads. They're a lot more like radio ads. So you can run a clip of your music with a voiceover giving a call to action or making an announcement about a new release or tour dates. And the actual cost per impression isn't that much. On average, you'll probably spend about 2 cents each time someone hears the ad, which is reasonably comparable to Instagram and YouTube ads, but you do have to commit $250 to each promotion, which is one of the big drawbacks. So if you're trying to stretch your ad budget to get the best bang for your buck, you're probably going to do a lot better sticking with ads on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Just like Spotify, those platforms also allow you to target users based on the music they listen to. They all offer geo-targeting options, so you can run location-based promotions as well. In fact, they actually have a lot more detailed data and targeting options than Spotify currently does. And those platforms have a much larger reach than Spotify. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube ads also tend to be less expensive than Spotify. And there's no minimum budget required. And even if your goal is to grow your following on Spotify, well, you can promote your Spotify profile or specific tracks with any of the platforms I mentioned. When you add it all up, unfortunately, Spotify Ad Studio just isn't where it needs to be for it to be the best option for independent artists on a small budget. In most cases, you'll get much better results for a much smaller investment with less risk when you advertise on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I would really only recommend using Spotify Ad Studio if you're already on the platforms I mentioned and you want to expand your reach. If you're already very familiar with paid advertising and you've had some success and know how to get results, I wouldn't recommend Spotify Ad Studio to complete beginners. And I would only recommend trying it out if you can afford to put $250 into a promotion to test it out. So that's my take on Spotify Ad Studio. I think it can be a tremendously powerful resource for labels and promoters that have a larger budget to work with, but it's unfortunately probably not the best option for most independent artists and do-it-yourself musicians. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube ads are still much better alternatives. Now, if you're completely new to this stuff and would like to learn more about how you can use paid ads to grow your fan base, I have a few resources that you might want to check out. Just head over to jammob.com to get started with some step-by-step courses I put together for you. If you want to learn more about email marketing and using Facebook and Instagram ads to grow your fan base online, check out my music promotion machine training. If you want to get more fans out to your live shows, I have a course on that called Live Event Blueprint, where I show you how to use Facebook events and Facebook ads to promote your live shows. And I just released a new program called Music Video Booster, where I demonstrate how to run ads on YouTube to promote your music videos, create awareness, and get more fans. And yes, you can take what you learn in any of those courses and use what I teach to promote your music on Spotify as well. Just head over to jammob.com to get access now. Well, that wraps up for this video. If you enjoyed it and found it helpful, please be sure to click the thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section below. And if you're not already subscribed to this channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button below and tick the little bell icon to be notified as soon as new videos are released. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.